Hello, and welcome to the show. This is just a short intro before we begin the episode, which I'm sure you will enjoy. We have a few things to share which are specials this weekend. If you're a writer and love the process and inspiration of writing on a classic typewriter, you can experience this magic opportunity by purchasing your very own typewriter. We do also have vintage or antique typewriters. Or if you already have a typewriter and it's broken, we are able to repair it so that your writing process can be that much more beautiful and enjoyable. Whether you're sitting at home at a cafe or traveling the world, you can now be motivated to write anywhere, anytime. Next, staying on the topic of writing. If you would like to purchase my poem book, they are now published and available. The Narcissist Recovery Guidebook, as well as the Grand Soul Awakening calendar collection of inner child poems on friendship and healing, as well as Divine Love Lessons, a poetic love story of returning back to your core self and a human journey of understanding your higher power, which has a touch of synchronicity, numerology, ascension patterns, spiritual insights to soothe the consciousness and support the ego into pure, authentic soulhood. And it's a great gift for yourself or for a friend who appreciates the art of poetry. Next, you can order the personalized art painting, which is perfect for birthday gifts and holidays. And it's just a great opportunity to become creative and to inspire the younger generation or adults as well. And you can also decide which kind of art pieces, which can be seasonal or biblical or a Disney character. So it will be anything that inner child wants to find for. Next, tutoring is also available from grade school to middle school to high school to courses. We have both the math, reading, writing, essay help, resume help, college admissions, essay help, all kinds of tutoring. Last but not least, we have virtual ballet lessons and classes available for all ages and all levels. There are ballet bar workouts included, and all you need is just a little bit of space and a chair or something to hold on to. And this is going to be with accompanying classical orchestra music to bring a sense of levity and joy and just fun overall, while also strengthening the body and adding flexibility and grace to your daily posture. And I have a unique experience as I grew up performing at Lincoln Center with the York City Ballet, with my City Ballet, with Alvin, Ailey, American Dance Theater, and also at Madison Square Garden. So this unique mix of artistic expression has inspired me to create a whole list of ballet choreography, ballet classes, and to inspire people to come along on the journey to awaken their appreciation and their gratitude for body movement and body positivity. And I'm excited to share this with everybody, and everybody is open to join. It's available for everybody. And we focus on creating elegant movement to the rhythm of the music, which makes you feel comfortable in your own space, at your own pace, and in your own skin. And this gives you an opportunity to enjoy the journey of imagination, beauty, integration, and through you, a sense of gratitude for yourself, for others, for music, and for movement. Classes are in session and all are. And if you would like to have me on as a guest on your podcast and would like to be a guest on my podcast, please do let me know. And I am also collecting new interviews with upcoming. And for information on any of the things that I have mentioned, if you would like to participate in, or to purchase, or to just join the community, please send me an email at growthandgracemindset@gmail.com. I put all of the logistics are on great. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Growth, Grace, and Gratitude podcast, where we talk about all things mental health, healing, growth, wellness, entrepreneurship, business, astrology. And today we have a special guest, and this is Christy Smith. And she is trained through evolutionary astrologer Deborah Silverman, social media content creator, community retreat host, wifey, and mama to two little girls, proudly in recovery from drugs and alcohol since 2015. Wow, congratulations.
Thank
And she
you.
lives by the philosophy that life is not meant to be taken too seriously. I absolutely
Can
love
you tell I wrote my own bio, y'all?
I love that. I love it so much because it's like it's so true. We so often want to be so serious and make sure everything is like perfect. But then once we grow up and evolve and like go through these cycles and healing experiences, it's like, okay, the more we can be aware that we have to be silly, that's gonna make everything so much easier.
I honor my inner child at all. Like I protect that baby girl at all costs, right? If there is not laughter involved, I don't want to be a part of it. And I don't know if that's because of what I've been through, you know, or not. I don't know if like going through hard things, like if struggle kind of shifts your ideal of success to be I want a more lighthearted life. I'm not sure, but it works for me.
Yeah, I think it is true. I think like when you do go through stuff, it kind of like reactivates something within you. But I feel like because the core of ourselves is our inner child. It is our childhood and those happy moments and those like bright, free, fun moments. It's like we always have it in the back of our mind. So it's like even when we're going through stuff and we're able to kind of like reconnect back, or sometimes we have to be forced to. Sometimes our therapists, we have therapy or like best friends or family or something like that that can also help us. I feel like whoever can help us come back to that space is so like beautiful and beneficial to our lives. We should like be aware of those kind of people and surround ourselves with those people because I also feel like so many times we do want to people please in a way, whether it's like with our friends or just with like externally how we try to project our like whoever we want to pretend we are sometimes, which is fun. We play within the game of life, but it's like at the end of the day, we don't want to be so going down the rabbit hole of trying to prove something that we're not, because then I'm just going to be so lost and confused.
I know. I think there is this like silly game that like we're conditioned to play of like people take me seriously. Like
Right.
if people don't take me seriously, I'm not successful. You know, I have to be capable. I have to sound and look very capable. And I don't know when the shift happened for me, but like, please don't take me seriously. Please don't, please take everything I say with a grain of salt. And I think that honoring the youthful, innocent side in us is way more important. I've only just been introduced to like the inner child work, but wow, was that enlightening to hold little baby Christy and play with her. You know what I
Um,
mean?
yes, I've done a few years of like teaching inner child work for my clients, and I feel like through every client, I'm learning so much about myself, even that I didn't even know existed. It's super interesting. The levels and layers of the inner child, it's like beyond. It's so fascinating, and especially if like people kind of believe in like past lives or different timelines. Every time we
Right.
like merge towards the core of the inner child, there's so much like abundance codes and so much like awareness of the soul from like the higher self that it's
Yeah.
like, wow, I can't believe that we lost those parts or we didn't even know they existed within our own body. So it's like it's unbelievable kind of process.
Right. We come in this life like equipped with everything we need, this bright shining light, right? So connected to the other side still, so unjaded. And then we move through this human game, right? This human existence, this incarnation. It's like we get more conditioned, more jaded, we find our shadows.
Yes, it's so true. And
You do
even
inner child work? That's so cool.
yes, yes, it's so funny how it started. I actually started when I was just like posting brands and quotes about my own healing, and I felt like I was kind of feeling isolated from the world, and I felt like I was like different, but not different, but like I have thoughts, like spiritual thoughts, and I was like connecting to different like realities and timelines. And I thought it was super
Fine, Ari, before we go a step further, what is your astrological sign?
weird.
Do you know your big three?
Guess what it is?
I mean, do you have Pisces in there?
Yes. My Venus is Pisces.
Oh, obsessed, obsessed. So of course you crave this stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yes. So like when I was trying to express myself and I was thinking like, yes, this is so weird, but also I don't,
Yeah.
because a few people were like coming to me and be like, what are you doing? What are you like sharing? And they're trying to, I mean, it's fine, you know, from their side, and they wanted to like protect or because it's different. And if something is different and hasn't been seen by the public, people want to stay away from it because of their own fears. And I guess that's normal, but then it's hard to kind of like put yourself out there and figure out who you are. And so I
Yeah.
was sharing my thoughts and I was channeling some stuff. And people started coming to me and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I feel this too. And I feel this and this. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like interesting. So I literally started growing my page just from channeling different things based on like inner child stuff, what I was feeling, if I was feeling like betrayed or annoyed or rejected. And
Hmm.
they felt kind of like synchronistic. So they're like happening through like a portal. When it was like a full moon, I felt more about it. I felt heightened. I just shared that, and I started to get a lot of people coming to me, and they just wanted help. And I was like, oh my god, this is super super cool. So I just started to make sessions, like inner child sessions, and it would go through like before childhood trauma, and there's like maternal wounds, paternal wounds, societal expectation. Those are also kind of as wounds distributed. So and yeah, it's
Did
really
you have did Oh, such a cool story. I knew I was gonna love you. Okay, so you must have some Gemini, Pisces, or tell me your big three. I'm dying to know now.
Aries sun.
Aries, hello, fire sister.
Actually, I think I have all three fire.
Are you a triple
Rising.
fire?
Yes.
Oh, hello. You're here to be a beacon. You're here to be a beacon. You can't be a triple fire and that not be a mission statement,
I
right?
know that's probably what it is, right?
I'm obsessed. So Aries, Leo, you've got to have Leo, that inner child
Yeah,
work.
Leo rising and then Sagittarius.
So good. I'm obsessed.
What are you? What are you? I feel
I
like
hmm
you have to be some kind of air sign because like you love this way.
Oh, well, thank you. I do have quite a bit of air. I'm a Sagittarius sun, a Leo moon, and
Oh
a
God. Amazing.
Capricorn rising.
Oh, that's nice. So like business professional. Let's go.
You would think. That is my single earth tether to this ground, right? That
Yeah.
Capricorn that keeps me in the material plane when I want to drift and play.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I feel like I need to have my like work friends around me to keep me grounded, even if it's just like minimum, because they're also very like expressive and
Hmm.
yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, since we're on the topic of astrology, let's get some questions from our listeners because they ask the best questions and I ask them to email me like at the end of every podcast. So let's see.
Awesome.
So yeah, this one is from a Cancer sign, and it's so cool because we're in the season of Cancer now. It's like this is
Yeah, Cancer. Oh,
return.
my best friend is a Cancer. Hello, you little feeler.
Yes, they love to feel, be cuddled and nurtured.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is a question from our listener, and it says, as a Cancer sign who's typically really emotional, at least they admit that. That's good. They admit
So good.
that. Yeah,
You're already doing great, Cancer, if you
right.
could admit that.
That's so true. Yeah, so who's typically really emotional and doesn't like to express my feelings. What should I do to work on improving my emotional self-love muscle?
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I am no psychiatrist. I cannot tell, however, what I will say, because a birth chart is going to tell you all of your gifts in this place, right? I believe that we have been here many times before. I think we have worn many birth charts, so there is a soul deep inside there with its own mission. But it's almost like a contract in this lifetime to practice the emotional realm. If you came here as a Cancer, there is a handshake in the heavens that says, I want to learn about the depth of human emotion this time around. Let's practice that. So it is your responsibility to acknowledge the emotional realm, right? Just that step of saying, I'm a Cancer, I'm very emotional. Beautiful. Beautiful, right? The next step is practicing that vulnerability. And it's so literal, like with water signs, so Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, drink lots of water, take baths, right? Take Epsom salt baths, sit in stillness. That's the water, right? It's stillness, it's the quiet, it's meditation, So be around water, go to the beach. This will naturally activate it, but then you have this extra, because you have this beautiful gift of deep intuition, emotional intelligence, that whole ability to hold space for other humans as a water sign, to make them feel very seen and important. You're a therapist, right? There's also an extra responsibility that comes with that, to acknowledge and see and witness the emotional body. So like 60 seconds a day, Cancer, hand on heart, hand on belly. What am I feeling? Like, just, Ari, what do you feel? Right? It's that simple. 60 seconds, and just let whatever comes up be witnessed. You are then acknowledging your own emotional body. You're saying, I'm here to witness you. I honor you. Right? Start there. Start very simple. And cry. Oh, for God's sakes, cry. Don't hold it in.
I love that so much. It's so true. I feel like a lot of water signs, they have that intuitive kind of like spark within them. I feel like they can have some kind of like shame sometimes to be like, oh, why am I like this? I don't want to be like this. But it's like a gift. It's part of their gift to express the world, because they can also be channelers, and especially like you mentioned, to go to the water. Yes, it's so true. Especially like now it's summer here and it's like more warm, so to be around water, it's so healing. And there's like rituals around water to do all these different kind of things, whether it's like even swimming in water. I feel like it's really good.
It's so alchemizing.
I know, I know.
Water, yes.
It's like
Come home to self. Come home to self, you water goddess Melusina, right? Come home to self. Get in the water. Acknowledge the water,
Yes, yes. I feel like the Ariel from the Little Mermaid. That's like the archetype.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with historical fictions, and I read this series by Philippa Gregory on kind of the kings and queens of England back in like the 15th and 16th century. There's a story, this ancient story about this water goddess Melusina, who like emerged from the water and married a king under the condition, I get to take a bath and disappear into my natural form, and you cannot look at me. Like, I have to do this in solitude. And she would go take a bath, and her tail would like emerge. Anyways, yeah, real life mermaid tail.
Yeah, so
I love the question. Because Cancer, right, the crab, right? Like, so it is a default to hide the emotional natures, to suppress, to compartmentalize. That is default.
That is so true. Yes.
Don't do it. Push yourself outside of that if you can, Cancer. You're meant to merge heaven and earth with all that heart energy. And sensitive is not a bad word.
Exactly. Sensitive is actually, through sensitivity, that's how you gain true empowerment, because that awareness, your gentleness, it's like it's the most beautiful natural thing to be. So I feel like, yes, totally embrace that side of yourself. And yes, I feel like this is a perfect answer for the Cancers out there, and especially now it's their birthday season. What a beautiful gift to give them this beautiful answer and response. So I love this.
Oh, happy birthday, Cancers!
Yes, enjoy your birthday, and don't feel like you have to avoid celebrating, because maybe you might not like the spotlight, but you do like the spotlight. Like, who doesn't?
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, we all like it. As easy to say as a triple fire, Ari. You're like, who doesn't like the spotlight? We know you do, okay, triple fire.
Great.
So funny.
Okay, let's go to the next question. It's another astrology question. Okay. So, and this is for an Aries. So this is great. For an Aries rising, does that make me completely ignore my Virgo sun sign, because I feel like I'm a leader and also hyper dependent, even though I am the Virgo sun? This is a really interesting question, right?
Interesting. Well, you know what I hear is this like dismissal or this undermining of the Virgo,
Yes, it's like almost like they're ashamed of the Virgo quality. I mean,
right? Well, first of all,
what,
Virgo is a leader, baby.
yes,
Don't undermine Virgo. We don't undermine the planner, the coordinator, the quality control, right? We would all be dead without the Virgos in this world. Let me make that very clear. They are a get shit done sign. Excuse my language.
yes, for sure.
You
Yes,
know, but an Aries rising, this is physical. The rising sign has a strong effect on the physical body. So sometimes it can feel incredibly personal. It affects the first house of the self and the identity. My husband is an Aries rising. God forbid you tell that man what to do. Defiant, you know? So not
yeah,
only are you this beautiful mix of this coordinator, this organized kind of planner and service oriented caretaker that is Virgo, which is such a leader, which is such a doer. But you also have the gift of the warrior in Aries. So you're a pioneer and you're a planner. It's a beautiful mix. I'm obsessed. We don't
well,
undermine either one of those.
yeah. I love that. Yeah, I didn't think about that before, but it's true. It's like you kind of get the best of both worlds because usually
Yeah.
with the Virgo sun, there could be a little bit of like a little bit of fear to stand out sometimes because they're not sure of themselves. But the Aries rising will push them to be more grounded
Yeah.
in their awareness, like take this
And I
pause.
think knowing our birth chart gives us such a cheat sheet. It's like God was like, here, you dum dums, here, you little dum dums. I know you forgot everything. So here's a little cheat code, you know, and all these archetypes are on a spectrum, right? So Aries in its highest expression, right, which is what we strive for. I want to be in the higher expression of all these beautiful gifts I have. You know, is such a leader, is so bold, honors the self in a deep way, knows how to set boundaries and say, this is what I need. This is you know this is what I see, how I see this going forward. So in that way they rally the troops, they lead us. And in the lower expression, it's demanding and it's pushy, and it's it says it's my way or the highway. It's reckless and impulsive. So I think kind of watching, where am I on my spectrum right now? Am I expressing in a way that is a leader, or am I being demanding and childlike? I think we all waffle all day long.
Yeah, I love that.
So
It's so true. It's like it kind of reminds me like when we're little kids and we're testing the boundaries. We're trying to see like where can I go through, where can I figure out my role in this life? And it's like you have to have parents who are going to kind of let you test those boundaries in a healthy and safe way because otherwise kids are going to feel like they're either going to be too secluded because they're not going to be able to like feel free. But then if they don't have
yes.
any boundaries, there's going to be chaos. So I feel like knowing your blueprint to your astrology, it gives you such a nice like boundaries, like healthy boundary setting in a way.
Totally. And what I love about astrology is I think there's a lot of like growth mindset. Let's heal, let's grow, let's fix this, let's evolve modalities out there. And what I have found in astrology is it's just about being, it's full self-acceptance. This is who you were from the moment you took your first breath. This was the influence that you were born under. Let's just honor that. This is why you feel this way. This is why you do these things. So we just accept. It's full self-acceptance.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's also interesting how you mentioned going to like recovery and addiction, that there are markers you can see in your birth chart for that. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's really, really interesting.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I love. So I've been sober for 9 years. And
Wow.
so it's a big part of my story, right? Like I've lived two very distinct lives in this lifetime, one of darkness and pain and isolation. And I didn't want to be here anymore. I thought that was the end of the road for me. And then I'm one of the lucky ones who got help, who accepted help, who surrendered fully. And I do see, because I know a lot of people that have walked my path, and so I've looked at a lot of charts, and there are definitely like what I believe to be indicators in birth charts that you may have a propensity towards addiction. Certainly tons of fire. Hello, Ari. you know, Fire is indulgent. It wants what it wants when it wants it. It wants instant gratification. It's impulsive. Low road of a ton of fire can be incredibly reckless. A self will run riot. I just want to feel good right now. What's the next, Um, so I always am, when I see someone with a lot of fire, we have to talk about the overindulgence piece.
Wow.
But I think the main indicator for someone who wants to escape this world because they are too sensitive are Pisces or Neptune signatures.
Mm.
Certainly within the moon placement, which is how you feel. But if you have any of your luminaries or strong personal planets or placements conjunct opposing Neptune in aspect with the planet Neptune, or strong Pisces energy, you're naturally an escape artist, right? Pisces is so sensitive. The beauty is they're such a mystic. They're so spiritually minded.
Wow.
Yeah. This world can be really harsh for Pisces energy. So what is the quickest way to change the way I feel, says Pisces? I can't feel this. So strong Neptune Pisces placements can definitely indicate someone who is naturally inclined to escaping through whichever route is the quickest. It rules other worlds. Drugs and alcohol are the easiest way to step into another world, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I would look for in birth charts to tell me if someone has a likelihood to go down that path.
Wow. Yeah. That's really interesting. And yeah, it's so good to also like be aware of, like you mentioned, it's so much fire sign. There's this like, impulsive energy. So I feel like wherever there's impulsive vibes, it's such a kind of crucial way to figure out yourself and like what are those coping things. Because I know my personality, I never drank and never did drugs. It was my style. I guess I grew up dancing ballet, so that was kind of my escape. I was able to always go to class, always go to rehearsal. So like I had something to do. So I feel like for those signs, it's like if you have something to do that gives you that impulsive like response where you feel like, oh, I feel validated, I feel good. It's like any kind of hobby, whether it's like movement, art. I feel like so many Pisces are so good in art and expressing themselves through art and painting. It's like such a gift, right? It's like unbelievable.
Ah, they're visionaries. So the visual arts come natural,
Yeah,
painting, photography, film, music. My God, Pisces, anything they touch kind of creatively is so poetic, is so beautiful.
yeah, that's so true. So that's why, yeah, just to continue like finding your kind of spiritual escape through like physical creation. I feel like that's a huge benefit. And I feel like so many of us, when we're going through different kind of like waves of ascension, we kind of connect to different ancestral timelines. And I feel like those can be really karmic in nature and makes us
Hmm.
feel like we're out of control. And that's what we might have this kind of like aggressive, impulsive nature. And that's when I kind of feel it's good to get like maybe inner child's reading or some kind of support or guidance or therapy or something because it might not be forever, but it's just like one period of your life might be bringing up to the surface some kind of like old wounds, and you might
Yeah.
just wanna look into that because I feel like we don't even know what's happening sometimes to us, and it's like when we take a look, it's like, oh, okay, this huge trauma timeline is coming, and it's messing up my brain, it's messing up my thoughts, and I have to
Mm.
just, relax through it, and it'll pass.
Yeah, totally. I'm convinced the rooms of 12-step meetings are filled with fire and water people, right? Because they're the party animals and they're the sensitives. And when you're that sensitive, feelings can be really hard. Feelings can be really overwhelming. And I know they were for me. And what's magical about the recovery process, because did you know that it's like 1 in 20. No, 20%. This is where I'm going. 20% of the population has the genetic gene that disposes them toward addiction.
Right, yeah.
20%, you guys, that's insane. And most of these people are in hiding and in shame, saying, I've got
Wow.
to figure this out on my own. It's too embarrassing. I can't talk to anyone about it. I couldn't possibly tell someone how much I'm drinking every day, And for me, the moment I found out that I wasn't alone, it was a game changer for me, because I hid for many years and I drank in my room, and I didn't, and I slowly closed my circle and moved into this very like small place, where nobody could see me, you know? I
Wow.
didn't want anyone to know. And there was this lie in my head that said I have to battle this demon on my own. I have to figure this out on my own, you know? And the moment it's like a moment of clarity that said, I can't, like, I will lose this battle. I'm losing this battle on my own, you know? And accepted help. And you know what's crazy is it was spiritual help, you know, because there isn't a medicine that you can take for addiction, but there was this spiritual replacement therapy in essence that I started to get high off off a higher power, off a spiritual way of life. I imprinted a new truth into my body, right? Through working, and I worked the 12 steps. And so I was completely surrounded by a community of people who are going through what I was going through, which was invaluable. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done it on my own, you know,
Wow.
but it was like this spiritual path that I was forced to take. I didn't really want to. I was kind of a hippie, you know, that said, you've got to find a higher power, Christy, because you have been your own higher power for way too long, doing whatever the flip you want to do. So
Humbleness
that
time.
like the process of surrendering, bowing my head to whatever was out there that was ready to take control of my life again. Because I had been steering
Wow.
this boat into the shore. You know, I've been trying to crash this boat for a long time.
Wow, that's so amazing. And thank you for sharing that. And it's so true. The community healing,
Mhm.
I feel like so many people are also becoming aware of the power in that. That
Yeah.
yeah, like it's so true. We always think like, oh my gosh, I'm alone and I have to figure this out. And so often it's like just even thinking that there's a possibility to join a community of healing, it changes everything. It's like it's kind of like a return to that like holistic ancestry connection where it's like we
Mhm.
heal through community and through tribes and those kind of rituals. It's just like a beautiful thing. It's like amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I think addiction is such a form of isolation, right? Your life gets smaller and more closed, and fear
Yeah.
takes over. And there is this lie that says asking for help out loud is so weak. It takes my power away, right? And it's not true.
That's exactly what people think. Yes.
Yeah, there is such power in saying I need help and I can't do this by myself. There's such power. You immediately connect yourself to a power source greater than yourself when you do this.
Yes. That's 100% true. It's so true. And
Mhm.
for example, like when parents are going through their journeys and they're having kids now, and they're like you said, like there's a switch. You go from darkness to light, and now it's like, oh wow, my life is like different now. How can parents also feel like they're a good parents when they do kind of have these maybe not they're not filled with shame because they're everybody's healing, everybody's allowed to process their shame, but how can they kind of like feel like I am a good parent even though they haven't fully like forgiven perhaps like I feel like they have to forgive parts of themselves and that's really hard to do, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, it's such a process of forgiveness, you know? And I think kind of that human journey of like shame and self-worth and am I good? I think that's just a part of what we have to go through here. You know, that's the tussle of humanity. Like, do people love me? Am I good? You know? I think we all have to go through that journey on our own. For an addict, the addict of a parent, like the parent addict, that's so hard, right? Because there is this feeling of like I'm choosing the drug or the drink over my kiddo, and it's not true. You're powerless over the drug or the drink. Okay. Let's just like put that out there. You are powerless. The sooner the addict comes to that realization, the sooner they can just throw their hands up and stop the fight. So I think that's helpful. And at first, just admitting full powerlessness to a disease that is bigger than you. And then working through the process. I think the amends process of getting sober, working the 12 steps is so important and making amends to yourself. You know, like, I'm sorry I didn't get you help sooner, you know, making amends to that the little
Inner
kid
child,
inside of you who feels crushed that this is what's going on.
that's
I'm
so
so
true, yeah. It's so true that the inner child
and,
wants
and
to
addicts, like, know that you are not a bad person trying to get good. You are a sick person trying to get well. It's such a different thing.
yes, amen, that's so true. that constant kind of like bullying the self. We tend to do that too. We bully the self so much, and it kind of gets to the point where like, okay, I want to stop now. I have to kind of like detach from who I thought I wanted to kind of those expectations that we kind of place on ourselves. We have to take a step back and be like, when am I going to stop bullying myself for everything I thought I was supposed to be? It's like, this is who I am now, and I have to
Mhm.
go through those steps to kind of like forgive myself in the moment. That's really hard. And I remember I had an inner child guidebook for people who were going through recovery, and I would make them like journal every day to be like, what behavioral patterns do I feel like I'm processing today that maybe are new or old or continuous? And it's like through figuring out your behavioral patterns and how they're shifting, it's going to
Yeah.
determine like how you see yourself and how you're changing. And then when you look back, and it's like if you take those to the accountable steps, you're going to see like how much of a difference over time you're
Right.
actually to make. It's like super, super fascinating.
Right, right. Because the addict's work is heavy. Like to get clean and
Yeah,
sober for because when you're in that disease of addiction, you develop this aberrant psychology, right? You
yeah,
are doing insane things. Things that you are saying, this is not what I want to be doing. This I'm not waking up tomorrow and doing that, right? The addict's mind is a trap house. I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to use today. 5 minutes later, you're on the phone. Like it is a trap house. So this aberrant psychology develops in order to justify, to explain to self, why am I acting so crazy, right? So you actually develop this insanity, and so there's a lot of rewiring I think that has to happen in order
that's
to walk
so,
a different path.
yeah,
We are defaulted to be captains of a ship that wants to crash. This ship wants to crash, right? So we have to totally rewire. So it does take a, I think journaling is so great. I think gratitude journals, I think talking on the phone to someone every single day, this is what I'm feeling is, and just seeing what's the process going on. Cause there's a lot of lies in here. It's so
yeah,
true.
yes. It's like part of the coping. It's hard. It's like you have to kind of go through those minuscule moments of. It's like I feel it's like a spiritual dark night of the soul. It feels like it's very
Mhm.
conflicted with like yourself, and it's like wait, this is a part of me, but it feels like I have to. It feels like when you want to detach, you attach even harder in the beginning. That's how it feels like, and it's like that's hard. But
Yeah.
you kind of go through it.
Yeah. You have to walk through it. There's no avoiding it. You have to walk through it. And I think the beauty in those lucky ones that make it through the miracle process of an addict that is in recovery, you're so that struggle, that pain, that darkness you've been through is not for nothing, right? The mess, the carnage that you've created in that life is not for nothing. You are now so uniquely equipped to extend your hand to another human being, especially another addict, and say, I've been through what you're going through. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'll walk through it with you.
Mm. And that's such a beautiful reminder that that's what they need. That's what we
Mhm.
all need on our journey, and especially when we're in the darkness of the soul. It's like to know that this is going to actually propel you towards your resilient timeline. That's
Yeah.
it.
Ari, you just get it. You just get it, Ari. And I like that.
Oh, I love this conversation. Where can people connect with you and see your beautiful, inspiring content?
Well, you can go. I play on Instagram all day. It's so silly. Don't expect anything too serious. But you can find me at Christy, Christy Smith_Smith_astrology at yeah, that's it. That's Instagram.
What's it?
My website, neonmoonastrology.com, if you'd like to book a reading. That's my website.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to put that in the description. Thank you so much, Christy. I love talking to you. I feel like we should totally do this again. It was so much fun. It was so inspiring. And I feel like our listeners are going to absolutely love this question and answer conversation. So informative, so healing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Ari. It was such a pleasure. My fire sister. I can't wait to see your full chart. Thank you for having me.